back to my channel. Today I am going to talk about the 5 types of writing slumps. I got inspired for the idea of this video after watching Jesse the Reader's 5 types of reading slumps. And while I was watching that video, I was like, I bet you I could think of 5 types of writing slumps, and I did. So first off, before I get into the 5 types, I want to talk about what makes a writing slump different from writer's block. Writer's block is this overarching umbrella of a bunch of things that keep writers from writing. Writer's slumps are the little things this doesn't make sense. This analogy doesn't make sense. If we think of this in terms of an essay, writer's block would be what the essay is about, and then the writing slumps are the paragraphs that make up the big essay. Now that I finally got my analogy straight, let's get into the 5 types of writing slumps. Writing slump number 1, I don't feel like writing. This writing slump really sucks for writers because it kind of makes us question our validity as a writer. How can we be writers if we don't feel like writing? But it does happen sometimes, and it can happen for a lot of different reasons. Basically, when you just don't feel like writing, there's only 2 different ways you can deal with this. The first way is to just push through it. If writing is something that you really want to do and take seriously, then sometimes you just gotta do it and you don't feel like doing it. If it's just a hobby and you don't feel like doing your hobby, that's fine. If it's something you want to make into a career and really serious about, sometimes you just gotta push through. The second way to deal with it is to give yourself a little bit of self-care. Sometimes when we don't feel like writing, it's because we really do need a break. Maybe our minds are overloaded, or maybe it's been a really long time since we've taken our break and we need time to refresh our ideas and just take care of ourselves. So it's good to know the difference between when you're just feeling lazy or you're not feeling motivated, but you should be writing anyway, and when you genuinely need a break from writing. Writing slump number 2. I don't want to deal with that scene / character / plot point, etc. And for this one, you really just gotta push through. There's a lot of things we don't want to deal with sometimes in our writing, and we just gotta deal with it anyway. Normally when I encounter this problem in my writing, it means that I need to do more planning. This could either mean my outline wasn't as solid as I needed it to be, and so there are missing plot points, or just there's some elements in the story that don't click with each other. It could mean that I haven't done enough character development and I need to go back to my character profiles and work with that a little bit more. It could be that the scene before that I wrote just doesn't fit very well and that needs to be cut, or it could be that there needs to be some details that are added. One thing that I've also found is that sometimes I don't have a clear enough picture in my head of the surroundings, so I'll try to draw out little doodles of what that looks like. When all else fails, try to just write something that will surprise your reader. Also, don't be afraid to kill characters. We do it all the time. It's quite frequent. Sometimes it just needs to happen to keep the story plot going. Slump number 3, writer burnout. If you experience writer burnout, then instead of pushing through it, I recommend that you take a break, because sometimes you really do need a break and you need to take time to kind of refill your imagination tank, if you will. Do some things that inspire you. Get outside a little bit and get some fresh air, because that's definitely something most of us could use more of. Allow yourself to do some other hobbies that you really like. For me, that's reading. When I feel really burned out, I start reading more because it helps get my brain working in kind of that creative imagination sort of way, and it gives me new ideas. And whenever I start reading without fail, it kind of gets me out of my writer burnout slump and it makes me want to write some more. Allow yourself to go out and experience life a little bit. We write from what we experience, even if it's fiction, even if it's fantasy or sci-fi. We still take on our experiences and what we see other people experiencing and use that in our novels. So the more that we can experience and watch others experience, the more that we will be able to then take and put into our own writings, which helps overcome writer burnout. Writing slump number 4, the fear of the then what. This is something that I've only recently noticed in myself, like the last couple weeks or so. I find myself, as I'm working through my second draft, and even though it's nowhere near being published, thinking about the whole publishing process and how intimidating that really sounds, because it is a really huge undertaking, whether you're self-publishing or traditional publishing. If you're traditional publishing, you're going to have to worry about the query trenches. If you're self-publishing, which is what I want to do, there's marketing and cover design. There's a lot of steps, and it's a whole lot more than just writing a book. And when I think about what needs to happen after I finish my second draft, it gets a little intimidating, and that intimidation sometimes keeps me from writing and puts me in a writing slump. So the way I get over this is by kind of talking to myself and reworking through my mindset. A lot of times the fear and intimidation can come from negative self-thought, such as thinking that you're not going to be good enough to do all this, thinking that your writing's not good enough. And I find that that's at the root of a lot of my fear of the then what. As, I don't know, self-centered as this may sound, I start telling myself that my writing is actually good, and even if it's not completely perfect right now, I can get it to that level where it's going to be someone's favorite book someday. And that kind of gives me the extra push to get it out there, knowing that there will be people who want to read it and who will really like it. I find that also listening to stories of authors who have already made it really helps, because pretty much every author has gone through so much rejection and have overcome so many hardships that we're definitely not alone in this. And the fifth writing slump, the last writing slump, is life just gets too damn crazy sometimes. When this happens, I would just suggest you tell yourself that it's okay. You know, sometimes life does get too overwhelming. Sometimes there is a lot going on, especially right now in the holiday seasons in December. And sometimes, you know, you have no choice but to take a little bit of a break. Now, I would recommend, if life is super busy, and that you still try to find some time to write, even if it's just a couple minutes. I know that this has been really helpful for me. I've started taking my laptop and pages of my rough draft with me onto my lunch break at work, and I get in maybe about 20 minutes of writing, because I take like the first 10 to eat. And even if I just do that 20 minutes of writing every day, it helps me feel better, because I'm still working on my novel. Even if I'm getting through less than half a page a day, it's still progress going forward. And so it helps me to feel more productive, and it doesn't make me feel guilty about not working on my writing, because I feel like I owe it to this book to get it written. So if I can work on it at all, I'm going to. Now, that being said, I've been working on it way less this December. It's taken me maybe 3 weeks to finish the first scene in chapter 5 of my second draft, and I wanted to have the whole entire second draft edited, or I wanted to finish editing the whole entire second draft by the end of the month. Not looking like it's going to happen right now, but that brings me to my next point, which is don't beat yourself up about not being where you want to be yet. As long as you're taking baby steps forward, even if they are the teeny tiniest of baby steps, and you know, you feel like you're in the right healthy state of mind, or not experiencing writer burnout or anything like that, it's okay. Any amount of progress is okay, and you will get to that finish line eventually. That's all I have for today. If you're currently experiencing any writer slumps, or have just gotten out of a writer slump, let me know down in the comments below, and tell me what you did to get out of it, or what you're planning on doing to get out of it. Because the more strategies we can share with each other, the more it's just going to help everyone get their books written. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to receive weekly videos about books and writing related things, go ahead and subscribe. I post writing videos on Tuesdays and book related videos on Thursdays. Thank you so much for watching this video, and until next time, bye!